Welcome to the Sales Influence Podcast, where we talk about finding the why in how people buy. I'm your host, Victor Antonio. Thank you for joining me today. Today, we're going to talk about the M-O-N-E-Y, money. Can I talk money? Let's talk money. Now, here's a phrase that just irritates me. It might be true, but it irritates me. Money can't buy you happiness. Money can't buy you happiness. Now, I have to agree. It's a true statement. Money can't buy you happiness. Kind of. See, sometimes we say things and we just don't give it some additional thought. Is this a truism that money can't buy you happiness? Let's go ahead and analyze this. Now, if you talk to the average person who believes this, they're going to say, well, Victor, money can't buy you happiness. I know a lot of rich people who are unhappy, right? And they'll say, and I know a lot of poor people who are happy. So, Victor, money doesn't buy you happiness. Well, that's a limited argument, right? Because there's many permutations to it. Let's go through it. Now, money. When we talk about money, sometimes, people conjure up this evil thought about money. But believe it or not, money is a medium of exchange. Money, if you think about it, is energy and work stored on paper. For example, if you worked 40 hours and somebody pays you, just making a number up, $1,000, right? And they gave you a check. That's a piece of paper. That piece of paper represents 40 hours of your labor plus time and effort to get to work and to get back home. Okay, that's what that piece of paper represents. It is a medium of exchange, labor for value, right? But when you look at money, I really want to dive deep in this one just a little bit. When you look at money, money to me is like a raw material. Now, I'll explain that in a bit. It's a raw material that has to be converted into something. And I'm going to tell you what that something is. It's much more important than happiness. It's better than happiness. It trumps happiness, no pun intended. Now, when you look at oil, for example, oil is a natural resource, right? We extract oil from the earth, right? But oil is a raw material. We can't use oil in its raw material. So we have to process, convert that oil. And then from there, we get gasoline. We can make plastic, different type of plastic bottles, whatever it may be. We can do things once we convert the raw material, which is oil, process it, convert it into gasoline, plastics, bottles, aluminum siding, whatever it may be. Plastic is everywhere, right? But the raw material is oil. Let's look at sand. Sand is a raw material. In its raw format, it can't be used, really, unless you want to do sandbags. Then, of course, you can use it, or lay a foundation. But it's a raw material. So what we then do is take that raw material called sand, we heat it up to 3,090 degrees Fahrenheit, and we convert it into liquid glass. Sand, heated, is converted, processed, changed into glass, which we can make glass bottles. We can now do windows. We can do solar panels. We convert that raw material into something that is usable. We take oil, we convert it into something that is usable. Money is a raw material, which we then take and convert it into the most useful thing available to us in a capitalistic society. And that is options. Yes, money is raw material, but when processed, we convert it into options. Now, what does that mean? Let's talk about this. When you make money, making money won't make you happy. I agree with you. It does not guarantee. I rather say it this way. Money does not guarantee happiness. I don't like that money doesn't buy you happiness. No, money doesn't guarantee you happiness, but it does guarantee you options. When you have more money, you have more options. For example, when you have more money, you can choose to buy that car cash or put it on credit. You can choose to buy that house cash or put it on credit. You can choose where you want to send your kid, public school or pay for some private school. You have options. In other words, money guarantees you options. That's the one thing. Now, what you do with those options, how you use it, is what guarantees or doesn't guarantee your happiness. But money will always guarantee you options. If you're making money, for example, maybe you want to grow your business. I've talked about this in my past podcast. When you have more money, there's more things that you can do with that money to grow your business. You can hire more people, invest in marketing, invest in sales, invest in capital equipment, whatever it may be. You have options because you have more money, i.e. profit. And again, even in your personal life, you can have all these options. You can choose to do what you want to do. If you have money in the bank, you have options. You don't have to work at that job if you don't want. In fact, if you want to switch jobs, you have that option as well. If you love your job, congratulations, you can leave at any time you want. But it's nice to have that option. If you're a mom, if you have money, you can stay at home if you want. If you're a dad and you want to stay at home with your kids, you can stay at home. Money guarantees you options. So again, money, when we make it, it is the raw material we exchange for our labor, right? We put in the time, we put in the effort, somebody pays us. Now that money is now converted into an option. What do we do with that? And the more money we have, the more options we are allowed or have in the world today. And that's what we all want. When we talk about financial freedom, what are we talking about? We're talking about options. So that's why I love selling, because selling, if you're good at selling, and you're becoming good at selling, that is a skill that nobody can take away from you. That is a skill that you will have for the rest of your life. That is a skill that has true lifetime value. What do I mean by that? That is a skill that, if applied to any product or service, will always make you money. And money will always give you options. So when people say, hey, you're focused on money, why are you always focused on money? Don't just look at them and say, I'm not focused on money. I'm focused on acquiring options, because that's what you're really doing. Money is paper, right? Again, energy stored on paper. What you want is what you can convert it into, and that is an options. What options will it give me? So again, never fall for the argument, money doesn't buy you happiness. Money guarantees you options, and that is what we all want, especially if you're in the world of selling. Salespeople who sell well make more money and by default have more options. And that is it for the Sales Influence Podcast. Don't forget to leave me some feedback on iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. This is a controversial subject. Let me know what you really think. I won't take it personally. Let me know what you think. Anyway, I greatly appreciate it. And as always, check out my online sales training platform, the Sales Velocity Academy. We're adding one course, maybe two every month, growing it. We have over 40 videos, 400 plus videos rather. My 13 books. So if you're serious about increasing your sales velocity, go to salesvelocityacademy.com. Remember, your ability to sell has pure lifetime value. It's a skill that you're going to have for the rest of your life, and you will utilize, and it will help you make money so you'll have more options. Lastly, I want to thank you for listening. This is Victor Antonio, always reminding you, shall we wait for the drop? I think we should. Selling ain't hard when you know how. Take care. Hi, I'm Victor Antonio. I'm an author, sales trainer, and keynote speaker. I'm often asked, what makes a great speaker? Is it someone who delivers real content that the audience can use? Is it someone who engages the audience so they're part of the learning experience? Or is it someone who can motivate an audience to push them beyond their comfort zone and discover new abilities? The answer is yes. But the most important thing to remember is that I'm not there to look good. I'm there to make my client look good. Simply put, it's never about me, and it's always about them.